Is it visible?
Yes, but you haven't make it full screen.
Ah, wait a second. Is it okay now?
Um,
There's no. I don't know what's wrong. But
yeah, that's the full screen. Yeah, I
well, let
think.
me refresh
Yes.
it then.
Yeah.
No, it's not the
Oh
full
yeah,
screen.
it's not the
I
full.
don't know. Okay.
See.
Is it loaded already? No.
Black. It's black and loading actually.
Yeah, still loading.
Yeah.
Okay. It's here.
I think that's
Okay,
fine. Yeah.
that's okay lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be presenting my final project plan about improving Airbnb conversion. So I'd like to talk about the problem solving methodology that I use here. It's basically these 6 steps, but it's more like I found it on the internet, and it's basically defining and clarifying what the problem is, defining the goal as well, identifying the root cause, which will be discussed in part one. And then I'll be talking about the development of the action plan, which will be in part two, the execution of the action plan, part three. Part four is discussing about the failures and successes and the key lessons that I got. And in part five, I'll be explaining the impact measurement, how it has impact for others. And in part six, my future actions will be discussed. And last but not least, it will be my conclusion for the trial program experience. Okay, so this is the problem. Um, Conversion rate. We have low views to engagement conversion for listed properties in the Airbnb account of Bukit Vista. And the goal here is to improve the conversion ratio, of course, and maximize booking. And why is this important? Why is conversion rate important? Because it is a key metric, and it is one of the most important KPIs that property owners look at to evaluate their property. So here are the root causes that I identified. First of all, yeah, the numbers here, you can see it's pretty like from 389,000 views to 756 inquiries and 193 instant bookings. And I have 4 points here. The first one is marketing tactics. So this part I discovered from talking from a pairing session with the marketing team, Kagani and Kawe. And from their marketing point of view, the only like the main controls that marketing team has on Airbnb is on the title, so the title of the property and the photos that they choose. And here, both title and photos are very important as they are initial hooks for the guests. So they are what attract like what you see first and what attracts you first to the listing. And the problem now is that in the marketing team, there's no set pattern to to copyright these titles. So they need a better a better guideline on how to do this, and they need to improve the quality of their copywriting as well. So it needs to be refreshed. That's what I got from marketing team. From then competition in the market. Second point, is that I see there are lots of properties as well in the same area with which Bukit Vista's properties are located. And of course, this competition, it leads to uh, like it makes it harder for Bukit Vista properties to appear in first page search results because every property has their own unique uh, value. And so, of course, the most unique ones will appear first. So that's what we need to get working on. Like we need to work on this. We need to get Bukit Vista properties to the first top search results. Third point is the values offered. So I see that some properties may offer like high rates, but their quality may not be as good as the same property as a different property in the same listing in the Bukit Vista property listing. So maybe like I acted as a guest, and if I were to book uh like A versus B, A with the higher price but with a lower quality of property versus B, it's like higher quality but lower price, then I would go for B. So we need to reconsider all of these prices and quality, the balance between them. And the last point is the quality of response to guest inquiries. This is mostly from the conversion team. So um, I like observed some inconsistencies in how they respond and how like sometimes people don't adhere to SOPs, and this is a problem that we have to fix as well. So previously in my previous presentation, I focused well, I didn't focus. I took random samples of properties from the Bukit Vista's account, Airbnb account, because I didn't know what to look for, so random sampling. But this time, after I paired with Kalilis as well, she gave me this list of 11 new and unbooked properties, and this is what we need probably to prioritize on. So after looking all of after looking through all of these properties, the first three properties here are properties that have shared amenities. So I classified them into one group, and yeah. So the next two, unfortunately, I couldn't find more information on these properties. I couldn't find it on Airbnb as well, and in Google, it wasn't found as well. Um, so yeah, and the next three are the bigger properties. So properties that guests can book for entire space, and they're very spacious and with complete amenities as well. And the last three are the new properties that were onboarded less than a month. So yeah, going on to my proposed solutions. Well, the first one, I slightly changed what I have proposed from my previous presentation. But still, yeah, the first one is related to what I chose to prioritize. So apply discounts, offers, um, basically play with the pricing offers, and new listing promotions is also one of the things that I considered here. And yeah, I chose to, you know, I chose this as a solution because I think playing around with offers such as discounts and promotions also will influence the psychology of customer behavior, and like it will influence their decision to buy. And also, I think by applying discounts and promotions, it will make the listing more attractive and will move it up to the first page search results. Second actionable is to evaluate current SOPs in handling guest inquiries and inspect for quality insurance assurance. So this is yeah, to avoid inconsistencies between all the responses. So because of course there are different people who respond, and everyone should actually follow the same format, but what I observe is that that's not the case currently. And for us also as a team to look more professional, this needs to be fixed, and to have a positive conversation with the guests. It's also important to adhere to the SOPs. And the third actionable would be to improve listing from the marketing side by improving copywriting style. So this is what specifically copywriting, because that's what the marketing team has delivered to me during our pairing session. And copywriting is also important to make our property stand out from the crowd, because if you just describe your property the same as others, then it wouldn't make it look unique from the first impression. And I think of it as an elevator pitch as well. Your title for your Airbnb property. So these are the actions I have taken. The first one, for actionable one, so for this first solution, is the pricing offers. I played around with it, and I took into account the amenities. So all the Airbnb properties, I opened them and I acted as a guest, and I evaluated from there. That's what I take into account into determining this, like which discounts to apply to which villa. So for the first part, it's 10% discount for the first two villas. These two villas, I apply 10% discount because it's a nice property. Like, they're very nice properties with spacious. They're very spacious villas, and they have almost complete amenities, I would say, and it's private as well to yourself. So I think the original price was actually worth it as well per night. But yeah, since these properties haven't got any bookings yet, I decided to apply 10% discount, which I think the price still makes sense and would make the properties more attractive. Second one is 15% discount. So these are for the three properties that have shared amenities, excluding the Sleepwell Balangan Villa, because they're actually part of the private villa with spacious and complete amenities. But from the photos that I saw, it's a bit old-fashioned and needs maybe like some improvements in the quality of the facilities. So that's why I put them in the 15% discount. And the 20% discount is for the new and unbooked properties, so the newly onboarded within a month. These properties are part of the new listing promotions from Airbnb. So 20% discount is to help these properties get their 3 first bookings faster than usual. Then yeah, for the second actionable is the quality check. So SOP in handling guest inquiries. And this is 10 items, 10 elements of the checklist that I created. Plus, I have reference from the guest squad guideline. So from the conversion team, from the reservations team guideline. So the first one is every guest inquiry. So every response to a guest inquiry should include personalized greeting. So the guest, it should include the guest name as well. Expression of gratitude for like thanking the guest for contacting Bukit Vista. Answer to questions. Make sure the answers are they give solution, they give precise information, and they're clear. Call to action to trigger the guest to book. Our sign, so basically like the closing greeting and our name to show that we are always here to help them. Interest on getting to know the guest, so just like your curiosity. What's the guest? Ask the guest what's their purpose of stay, and their details, of course. Alternatives or special offers. So these are like basically solutions. So backup plans we can offer guests if what they're looking for is not what we have, then we can offer them another property within a different listing or the same listing with a different price, different dates. So just for this, I think you would need to know, like, you would need to get a good knowledge of all the properties in the listing. Then it's also important to end with a question to prolong the conversation. So to ask whether our recommendations are suitable for them, to make sure that they agree with us as well. So it's not only a one-way agreement. And offer any other help. That's very important to show them that we remain open for help. And response time within 1 hour, I think this needs to be worked on because from what I see, there are lots of problems with response time, and we will see further with um, so yeah, with the examples here. And yeah, these responses, screenshots of responses I received from Kalilis, and it's a sample of 5 different responses from different inquiries. So yeah, for this inquiry, I noticed that response time is quite long. Uh, it's around 1 hour 30 minutes, and there's also late confirmation in which the guest wanted to come and visit the property, but and she or he was already on the way, but the confirmation came after like a few hours, so it needs to be fixed on. Then the next one would be this. So yeah, what I observed here is there is no particular solution to the guest inquiry, and there's no effort in getting to know the guests further, like what they would like to use the property for, like maybe an event, and we can find out more maybe from our findings. We can offer them like other alternatives. Then yeah, this one. Well, this one had good response time, so within less than 5 minutes. That's very good. But what I see is there's no greeting. Well, there's greeting, but not with the guest name, and there's no gratitude for like contacting Bukit Vista. No particular, like no clear answer to the question in which the guest was asking, and there's no effort in trying to know the guest as well. And last, this one, I think the last inquiry is probably the most problematic out of all, because whoever responded to this left none of their names, so it's not. We don't know who actually responded to this, and it's only a hi. I mean, there's nothing else, and the guest asked like a few things, wasn't answered at all. So yeah. Yeah, and the third one is marketing. So from the marketing part, as I said, it's more to the copywriting aspect that they're trying to fix. And here I listed some on the right side, so the pink box, I listed some characteristics which a good title should have. So I take into account the copywriting characteristics. So it should have psychological and emotional hooks. So this is the essence of productive copywriting. It should clearly communicate expectations and describe the vibe of the property, but not in very long words. Appeal to the right audience. So if you feel like the property is suitable for families, then you include 4 families in the title. Then should also highlight 1 or 2 main points. So for example, there's a feature in your property that is very rare in the area. For example, having a jacuzzi, and yeah, you should point that out in the title because it will attract the guest's attention. Then avoid fillers and generic adjectives such as words such as great, nice, pretty. I mean, we can find more advanced words to avoid making our properties look generic. And avoid negative words. So negative words, I'll explain a bit more with the example that I'm going to go. Now, moving on to the examples, it's an example from the Airbnb from the 11 properties that I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the presentation. So the first example, perfect villa to chill with lazy river swimming pool. That's from, if I'm, oh yeah, so that's from the Dancing Garden Villa. It's one of the new onboarded properties from Bukit Vista. And here, what I meant with negative words is here we can find lazy as a negative word. And even though it doesn't, the intention here is not negative, but having having even one negative word in the title would, make an impression, make a overall negative impression of the whole title. So that's a copywriting tip. And from those few tips that I got, I have a recommendation to change the title to Clean and Minimalist Zen Villa with Long River Pool, because well, I should have included photos here, but from what I see in the Airbnb listing, is that this property is very minimalist and very clean. It's it's very like wooden aspect with a garden as well with a pool. So it has a zen vibe. And yeah, the Long River Pool, I think instead of lazy it could be long because it's long. And the second example is explore Canggu Hips area in fast Wi-Fi room plus pool. This is the Uma Canggu guest house. They onboarded with us since January 2019, but haven't got any bookings yet as of now. And my recommendation is to modify the title. Well, I'm not a marketing expert, so I don't know if this is the right one, but uh, spacious guest house with pool plus PD Wi-Fi in Canggu. It could be more, because it could be more descriptive of the property itself, not like the Explore Canggu Hips area. Yeah. So the failures and successes that I have working on this project. First of all, the failures and key lessons. So yeah, initially, what one of the things that I had planned is influencer partnership, and that didn't go well in my case because influencers are not easily reachable, and there's also a time limit that maybe like they have their own schedule and stuff, and they don't reply. Yeah, they don't reply, and it's also costly. So what I learned from this is I should think more before proposing a solution, because in my case, my day three presentation, I didn't think through about the cost and the time that it will take to contact the influencer. So I was quite optimistic with this, but it turns out it didn't provide good results. Second one is host quality visits. So this is also something I mentioned. Not on top of my priority list, but um, it's somewhere there. But then it didn't work out here because, of course, I need to also coordinate with the hosting team, which I didn't have time to do that. And after I evaluated all the solutions that I have, I think this is not this is not it's better. The three solutions that I proposed earlier would be much easier to do in the time frame that I currently have. And most probably, I don't know, I'm not sure, but most probably before every guest come and stay in the property, the hosting team would also do the quality visits. But this requires time and effort. And the last one is actual improvement. So in my previous presentation, I delivered some key results in numbers, which were an increase in conversion, so 0.5% increase in views to inquiries, and 0.25% from views to booking, to instant booking, which also didn't deliver in this case because maybe these actionables haven't really been implemented. But maybe when I created the presentation in day three, I was pretty optimistic, and I think what I learned from this is I should plan better. And moving on to the successful achievements, I successfully made pricing offers, but still needs to be evaluated. So still needs to be evaluated with the revenue management team, and propose to the owner of the property as well, of course, because we don't know if the owner will agree to this proposal. Second is guest conversation. So I assess the quality of responses to guest inquiries, and from this, from the results of my findings, I could deliver suggestions to be implemented by the conversion team from the reservations team. And the third one is the marketing strategy. So found pretty good tips from my research to basics of good copywriting, which can be implemented also by the marketing team. Impact measurement. So how can my results help others? Well, in this case, I divided into different teams, different stakeholders that can benefit from my results. The first one is the revenue management. So now they will have new pricing offers to be taken into consideration, and maybe if this works out, then it gives them an easier job to proceed with this particular problem. And second one is marketing. So marketing can use the tips to refresh their marketing copywriting style. Third one is the host team. They will have easier time to explain property after the guests already understand like more from the inquiry process, from a more clear inquiry process. And the reservations team will benefit also from the improvement of handling guest inquiries. So I think for this, there needs to be a guideline, like a further guideline to be created specifically on this. And my next steps. So first one is to do further research on each solution, because I think there still needs to be lots of things that I need to find out. Then afterwards, I need to discuss with the related stakeholders, so the related chapters and divisions, evaluate and try to implement. So if it works out, if the evaluation is good, then we try to implement, and we try to monitor the progress as well, how it goes, and from the monitoring point, we can identify problems or possible improvements and other opportunities to solve. And last but not least is my trial program experience with Bukit Vista. So from these 6 days of trial program, what I like is that everyone's really welcoming and friendly. So it is what I had expected as well when I saw Bukit Vista's website before joining the trial program, is that the environment is very, very friendly and very welcoming. And it's what I feel as well from these 6 days. And I'm grateful that I have supported seniors as well. Of course, Kalilis and Kofi D, very supportive, and not only from BI, but also from other chapters. So like everyone is willing, even though I probably initiated some pairing sessions very, very suddenly, like in a short notice, but they are willing to help, and they're willing to, make most even though they have busy schedules, they are willing to go on the meeting with me. So that's what I appreciate a lot. I also like the introduction to new tools and apps, because there are lots of apps used by Bukit Vista that I have never heard of before, or I've never used. And yeah, some of them I'm getting to know better, and it's really nice to use them as well. And what I like here is that there are lots to learn, and there's lots of room for potential, for growth potential. What I dislike, well, the time given for the project, I feel honestly it's a bit short. So that if there's I know that if we eventually get accepted into this into the internship program, we can still work on the project. But the time frame for all of this is is too, like, it's too cramped. Yeah. And the workload, not only with the project, but the fact that we have to make conclusions for each meeting, so meeting notes, everything on top of this project, um, is also like within a short time limit. But nevertheless, I am glad that I completed everything, and I mean there's also lessons learned from these, even though it's the difficulties that I experienced, but there are also lessons to be learned. So I'm grateful for that as well. And I dislike the overlapping schedules. So some meetings were overlapped with each other, making us like, not being able to attend one of the meetings, and sort of confused which meeting to attend, and yeah. So I think with this, there needs to be better arrangement with the scheduling and so on. And that's it for my presentation. So thank you. Um, any feedback?
Thank you, Jess, for your presentation. It's very long and complete, actually. But I'd like to offer to Vidi because some of it is related to the guess what?
Guess funnel, yeah.
Mhm.
Jessica, I think why you feel as well, why you feel the workload is a lot is because you did like a full stack analysis of the guess squad. That is much appreciated, but is it the initial expectation list? I didn't know because I
Yeah,
thought
actually, no.
from
I think
awareness to
we
instant
do
book,
it
I thought, right?
yesterday. Yeah, when awareness to instant book. But then
Eh,
yesterday we talk and then we find out new problem, and then I think
a
this
new
is
problem
more.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is more interesting. So you have an option to go with all, but you also can just go with one. So
yeah,
just
but that's good though. Like at the end, you completed this presentation, and the analysis,
Yeah,
I think a lot of them are very valid, especially
yep.
regarding the adoption. And it's good that you can actually become the agent of inspection for the operational team.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we use a
you did
random
very good.
sampling
Yes,
framework that we
approach. Yeah.
discussed last week.
Yep, yep. That's
Yep.
very good. That's very good. The only part that maybe like in general, maybe 80%, I completely agree with your analysis. The maybe some of the one that I have to ask is actually regarding pricing and promotion because yeah, for demand like logic, right? Lower price, higher demand. That's logic.
yeah.
But then there are issues when trying to lower price and give discounts. Do you know what that is?
We have to take into consideration the fees, and maybe
Owners as well,
the
right?
profit distribution with the
Yes,
owner.
correct.
Yeah,
And that is one thing that maybe we have to deal with if you want to propose a discount. Like, how,
exactly.
how do you think you will approach this then?
I'll have to discuss this further with Kaija, yeah, so the revenue manager, right?
I see.
Uh, and see what she thinks about this, because I paired with her as well, but I didn't at that time I didn't have this proposal yet.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Some of the suggestions like that. The title as well. I think some of the points are valid, like in the theoretical point of view, like negative, avoid using negative words and all stuff like that. But like the specific keywords that to be used, it has to adhere to the search engine optimization theory as well, where we
Mm,
know okay in this particular area what are the commonly used words, so it's not random, but you can actually pinpoint
yeah.
the specific keywords that you want to use from there. And maybe you can collaborate with data scientists to script this data. But in general,
Okay.
excellent presentation, Jessica. And a lot of it can actually be, there are a lot of actionables from this.
Okay. Thank you, Vidi.
Right. Thank you, Fidi, and thank you, Jesslyn, for the presentation. Yeah, I think Fidi cover pretty much all of the questions. But do I have questions? Perhaps in yeah, the biggest problem is so in the first. Fidi said that problem is with the owner, right? Apa namanya? Owner needs to be agree. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
also know about
Yep.
it. You mentioned in this presentation, but also another consideration adalah walaupun it is cheap, how we can make it actually targeted the right audience. Means like when it is too cheap, perhaps someone thinks, hey, this villa is apa gitu, terlalu murah gitu. Jadi
Mm-hmm.
aduh nggak
Yep.
mau deh gitu kan misalnya. And how you can make that promotion like really really a promotion, not like cheap property gitu. Karena in Airbnb, if you'd like to put that price, it will be like changed. There is no word like, hey, this is in promotion. No, there's no words like that. It's different when, for example, you make reels video and then you said, hey, this is in promotion, usually berapa gitu kan. It's different. So you need to think more about that strategy, and also the owner's consideration, because we need to cover the expenses at least.
Yep.
So further consideration is investigating what is the expense that attached to the villa for one night gitu. Ya gitu sih. Itu ya masukannya. But yeah, it's excellent. You covered three topics in one presentation, and I'm not really sure when you started, but we finished the pairing yesterday. I think late afternoon, so it's excellent. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you very much,
Very much.
Kimberly.
Right.
Mhm.
Thank you.